Hello there, I'm Marcus, the other half of the Bloody Students. My first video is a review of the recent release game from Bethesda Softworks and Machine Games, Wolfenstein: The New Order. I must admit, the original Wolfenstein games, such as Castle Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 3D, were a bit before my time. However, I am familiar with the main theme of killing Nazis. I'm pleased to report that the disappointment found within the most recent 2009 Wolfenstein game is all but gone, with vast improvements across the board. The version I tested was the PS4. In terms of the story, Wolfenstein: The New Order centres around fictional events in the Second World War, presented through a first-person view through the eyes of series-long protagonist, Agent William B.J. Blazkowicz. The main antagonist is the rather cliched General Wilhelm Deathshead, who reminds me of the Red Skull from Captain America in many ways, mainly due for his lust for violence and developing Nazi sciences. The New Order starts with B.J. Blazkowicz on board an Allied aircraft with the chirpy Scot Fergus Reed in an attempt to storm Deathshead's fortress. The mission results in Blazkowicz suffering a head injury, and as a result is left in a vegetative state for 14 years. Meanwhile, in this time, Nazi Germany has taken over most of the world, such as the US, the UK and other Allied nations. There are a number of weaponry advancements, such as energy weapons and mechanically implanted dogs. Without giving too much away, Blazkowicz joins the resistance force which aims to end the Nazi order. The story does look like your typical brawn over brain shoot anything that moves stupid shooter, however I did genuinely care for the main character as he progressed in bringing down the Nazi rule. I did find it hard to believe that a man in a vegetative state would maintain his large muscly physique after 14 years, as well as his coordination, but hey, it's a video game, it doesn't always have to be accurate. I don't want to spoil the story, but when you're battling to free your own country, as well as the world from the racist and homophobic nature of the Nazi rule, you can't help but feel satisfied with every bullet that hits the Nazi enemies. The game environment sets a very sinister tone, where the Nazis have transformed the personalities of big cities such as London into large soulless collections of stone buildings. Throughout the game we will hear conversations and will read news articles showing just how intolerant the Nazi rule is. I found the story took around 13 hours to complete, however there are a number of collectibles to find, such as the Enigma codes, the records, letters, concept art, as well as gold items. However, I didn't really have the interest to spend the time finding every single collectible. Many other reviews have mentioned that Wolfenstein isn't a twitch shooter, and it isn't. However, the game controls nicely with features such as the ability to look around cover. The stealth features are a blessing, with the ability to silence weapons and use throwing knives, as well as using stealth melee kills. I found that the stealth strategy was highly rewarding, as killing certain Nazi officers would remove the risk of an alarm being raised if spotted, bringing even more enemies to fight. Weapons in the New Order are generally excellent, with plenty of options including favourites such as the shotgun assault rifle and marksman rifles, with different add-ons for each weapon, such as the bouncy shotgun pellets as well as the assault rifle rocket launcher add-on, which all of these weapons can be dual welded, allowing for more firing power. Most weapons have a laser powered alternative and are very powerful against the bigger enemies. One of my favourite tools and weapons is a laser cannon, which can be used as a heavy weapon as well as a laser cutter for entering vets and metal fences, which is especially useful in the stealth aspects of the game, offering more variable strategies in every fight. The boss battles are unique and require the developing of new strategies for each boss, and when you beat the boss, there's a massive feeling of satisfaction at the thought that you've just deeply impacted the power of the Nazis. The health regeneration mechanics also add another layer of difficulty, as the player needs to pick up health packs to restore their health, meaning at higher difficulties you'll have to time your health pack pickups more carefully when needed. Graphically, Wolfenstein: The New Order runs at a native 1080p, which is full HD, at a full 60 frames per second. This leads to a silky smooth and visually pleasing game with brilliant character models and textures. A part of me is optimistic that the Wolfenstein engine for this game can be adopted for the next Fallout game due to the excellent graphics and the intuitive GUI such as the weapon wheel and the map system. Loading times are also relatively short, and once the game is loaded you'll only really ever see loading screens when you die. I'm afraid there's no multiplayer in Wolfenstein: The New Order, however this means there's been more of a focus on the story and the environments, which are tailored specifically for the single player experience, without having to force multiplayer map environments into the main game. Overall, I must commend Wolfenstein: New Order for its solid gameplay mechanics, as well as its excellent graphics, and also the atmosphere of the Nazi Order is brilliant and intriguing. Unfortunately, the absence of multiplayer reduces the longevity of the game, and the cliched story is a bit too obvious with stereotypical mad scientists and the standard buff protagonist. To wrap it up, I give Wolfenstein: New Order an 8 out of 10, and I'd recommend the price you go for is under £20, mainly due to the lack of multiplayer to extend the lifespan. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of our videos.